What's good, everybody? Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we are live on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Coming at you again with another free dog behavior Q&A, episode number 126, where we answer any and all questions that you may have throughout the week with your dog. Feel free to ask as many questions as you like, and remember that your questions directly help others who are struggling with the same thing. We're all in this together. Might as well ask a question. We can start a conversation. You can even give me a topic you'd like me to talk about. Otherwise, I'll have to talk about myself, and I don't really want to do that. So go ahead, feel free to get in those questions, and we will take it from there. All right, let's get started. Okay, this question is from Amy. Hi, Amy. Jordy is doing really well, and we've taken up to running with him. There are other dogs in the neighborhood that we come across unleashed or with leash dragging. Excuse me. What is the best way to handle this? When many times I don't realize until they're upon us. So far, I just keep going. But should I give a sit or give him slack? I'm always confused about dogs meeting, and in this case, I have no control over the other dog being free. What's the best way to keep me and Jordy and also the other dog safe? Well, now this is a wonderful question, and I want to apologize, you guys, for watching. That my voice is a little bit hoarse, so bear with me. I'm gonna have to give more effort to articulate what's going on. Okay, so Amy, you're gonna need something to keep dogs away from your dog, especially if your dog was at one point leash reactive or aggressive. You need to keep dogs away from you by any means. By any means is what I'm trying to tell you. Uh, Loose dogs, they are tough to obviously control. They are tough to uh, just predict, but you need something that will deter those dogs from coming up. And I would suggest that you get a doggy don't. That's probably the most efficient when it comes to really making dogs run the other way. Also, sufficient meaning it just takes a battery, and it lasts for a very long time. So look up or Google doggy don't, and then watch my video on how to use it on YouTube. I have a video on how you can use doggy don't so you can keep those nasty dogs away from your dog, and keep your dog safe. But don't sit. A lot of people that come to me and train with me, some trainers must be given that advice that you must sit your dog. Um, okay, so I should clarify that. When I'm talking about people telling me to sit, they have a leash reactive dog, and then when they see a dog, they're instructed to sit their dog, and I don't think that that's right. I think that that dog can build an association with the sit, right? We have one of those and watched your video. Okay, then that's all you need. You got one, you're good to go. The doggy don't is a really good tool. So try that. You will teach that dog. You will not only keep your dog safe, but you will teach the dog that is pursuing you a lesson. Okay? And then you find out who the owner is and you send them an invoice. Just kidding. JK. Okay. So you're good now. All right. I won't even go on to explain it. Okay, next question. I want to next question is for Kier. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. All right, Kier. Our pit mix is Jordy's listening to me. Jordy, sit down. Go to your crate. Get off the couch. Go to your bed. All right. Our pick mix has started going at the gate when our cat comes upstairs and sits on the other side. He is he is about 9 and 10 months old. Till now, he's been curious, but has given her space. I'm really afraid if he got through he would really hurt her. I'm wondering if this is prey drive that's kicking in, or just him entering adolescent behavior that we can nip in the bud. Is there anything we can do to get him more used to her and stop this? Yes, there is many things you can do to get your pit mix to respect your cat. First and foremost, I would say, why don't you take the baby gate down and put your dog on leash? Let's give some time for that. Give some time for your dog to be under control, and you allow your cat to kind of roam, right? So once you do that, your cat says, "Oh, hmm, maybe he can be controlled. Maybe he's not just going to chase me." It doesn't really seem like your cat's scared of it, so whatever. But if your cat is also declawed or not declawed, then you can kind of lead your dog to the cat and let the cat defend itself. Some dogs learn a lesson from a cat that has their their claws still. So that's an option. But again, if your cat is declawed, it's going to be tough. You're really going to have good obedience from your dog, and that just means you have to get your dog to listen at a very high level when in the house. And so more rules and structure inside the house will be key on getting your dog to get used to and respecting the cat. Okay, so um, give a few sessions, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, or however long it takes your pit mix to sort of forget about the cat or get tired of the cat. But put your pit mix on leash, let take the baby gate down, and and again, let your cat roam and let the dog learn how to control his or her impulses around the cat. That's going to be key. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, feel free to give me more detail because there's a lot of people that have cat and dog issues. All right, those of you who are watching on YouTube, Facebook, and or Instagram who've just joined in, please feel free to ask any question you like about your dog, behavior wise. I'm not a vet, but I know a little something, something. I'm not nearly as knowledgeable as a vet, but yeah. So feel free to ask as many questions as you like. We are here until the questions run out. Okay. All right. Let's load. We got a question live. Okay. All right. Well, let's go one more question with. Okay. All right. Chris says, "Oh my, so sorry. I cannot be there or be with you tonight, but I will listen tomorrow." Brandy barks and bolts when the doorbell rings. Do I keep her on the cot until she calms down? Thank you. The car rides are still not good. When I'm in the other room and she goes to the window, she will bark. How do I correct it the right way to get the barking to stop? I usually correct her to her cot. I think that's the correct way. If she's still doing it though, and you still have to address certain issues, then you may not be correcting her to the level that she needs you to correct her, because the level that she needs you to correct her with the e-collar is the one where you don't have to repeat that same correction. Okay, so something as strong as barking may need up to 10 to 15 levels higher than the level um, that you're usually working with. And so you want to go ahead and concentrate on um, nipping it in the bud and not continuing to correct her at this low level, but go up 10 or 15 levels. And then obviously use your words so that the dog really has a chance to learn and control herself. Okay. And if this problem persists, just give me a call and we can handle it over the phone. Okay, Chris, thanks for your question. Okie dokie. Okay. This question is for Kathy. Hi, Kathy. I would like your thoughts on hurting a dog's spirit. Kylo has been doing so well with walking now that we use a pinch collar and an e-collar. Thanks so much for teaching us how to use these tools properly. I've been told I'm crushing his spirit. Um, I guess I wonder what the signs are. I think he's calmer, not crushed, but of course I worry. Ooh, okay. Uh, I'm gonna try to be nice here. But whoever told you that, whoever told you that you're, okay. Well, no, it's not a dumb question at all. Not a dumb question at all. And I didn't mean to. I wasn't rolling my eyes to you. I was rolling my eyes to whoever told you that. Um, you can do one or two things because I never want to seem like I have all the answers. I never want to seem like my way is the only way. But um, uh, you've seen. I mean, if you've trained with me, you've seen my dogs. My dogs have gone through what I'm teaching people to twice as much and twice as tough. So their spirits, if you've seen my dogs, are very happy, outgoing. They're not lowering their head, their tail's not tucked. They're not. I'm hard on my dogs, but for good reason. But I know how to be gentle as well. And so, okay, so here's the other thing you can do. Take that person who said you're crushing his spirit and ask them what to do with your challenges because they can suggest something's happening, but they can't really help you on how to solve a problem. Crushing his spirit, that's ridiculous. I don't, whatever, whatever. I mean, the dog can be, I don't care if the dog looks confused. I don't care if the dog looks pissed off. It doesn't matter. We're trying to teach the dog something at the end of the day. We're just trying to show the dog that the world isn't what you think it is. You don't have to react to every dog and or person on leash. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's not conducive to, you know, society. So, yeah, maybe dogs will feel, I'll give you this. Maybe dogs will feel some kind of way. But yeah, life's not fair. There's no child that goes without disappointment. There's no person that goes without a little disappointment. Sometimes it's all a learning thing anyway. If you lose, you learn. So that's my thoughts on that. And I thank you for that question because there's a lot of people who, there's a lot of, you know, people who think that as well. But check out my videos. And I challenge anybody to find a video where a dog looks crushed or their spirits are crushed. It's not that. Do you want the dog to look crazy? Because that's the alternative. Either the dog looks calm. If the dog looks calm, does that mean their spirit's crushed? No, that means that they actually uh, are calm and good. Is is the is the alternative is the dog's acting crazy. Oh, it's out of control, but its spirit's high. That's ridiculous. That's dangerous. And nobody should have. Everyone should have control over their dog, especially a young dog. Had he learned so much in the short time I've been working with you, Kylie, this new way, so much more than with treats and positive reinforcement only. I'm so glad to have met you. I'm glad to have met you as well. Make sure you guys come to our pack walk. I deal with this with horse owners when I train horses. Amen, brother. I'm on 100%. I knew you would. I knew you'd. I knew that that you'd feel that for sure. Um, because my experience with horse trainers are yeah, we're in the same ball game. Um, it's tough. It's an emotional journey for new people, and I have empathy for new people, and or just people and their dogs when the journey is new. I do have empathy for it, um, but um, but um, I can't subscribe to people who want to make people feel bad about actually trying to control their dog. I don't like that at all. Um, those people who are saying that aren't trainers. They don't have experience with dogs, and if they do, then I would definitely challenge them to that narrative. All right, training is not fun. I mean, we want it to be as fun as possible, but again, some of these dogs can cause harm, and the type of training that I do is it's not it's not fun. It's not fun. I mean, that's just being straightforward. We at the on the other side of things are going to be fun because what we're trying to get to is get you to be able to include your dog in more things in your life instead of putting the dog away, keeping the dog in a boarding place, not being able to bring your dog with you on places. This is what we're trying to get to. More inclusion. Your dog actually then has more of a life. Off leash, those type of things. And your dog listen. But some training isn't fun. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. Your dog will not have a fun time until it's understood that he or she learns skills that will save his life, be convenient for the owner, and be safe for society. All right, that was a little rant, and I apologize. But it's not a dumb question whatsoever. It's a very important question. So I appreciate you asking that, and I appreciate your honesty. Okay. I need to keep listening to you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. All right, next question. When a 70-pound hound keeps full on running and jumping at you, just knock her down? Question mark. Um, just knock her down. I don't know. I would say do what you need to do to get respect from that 70-pound hound. I would say do whatever it takes to get your dog to not want to jump like that because there's a lack of respect coming from that dog. And so, there's many ways to get respect, but that's what needs to happen. So I'll leave it up to you. That's what I'll say. Okay? When a 70-pound dog decides to jump, it can be dangerous. There have been dogs who have been put down for jumping. All right? So a big dog like that definitely needs to learn to um respect people's space enough to not jump. Maybe I should make a video on that. Okay. Next question. All right. How do you handle a dog that barks just to bark as soon as we stop outside to go walk? As soon as we step outside to go walk. He's not barking at someone or another dog. He just barks to let the neighborhood know he's present. He's tiny. So maybe small dog syndrome. I correct with hush and heel, but he starts right back up. Okay, so excuse me. All right. Well, I would argue that the outside does have something that triggers his anxiety to bark like that. So it may not be visible. It may just be so habitual. It may just be so uh, ingrained in him that when he steps outside, he thinks that he has to bark. So there's something that is causing that. All right. So how do you fix that? Well, you have to get the dog to uh, really respect rules on the walk or on leash. And the rules on leash could be um, to stop walking when you stop walking and sitting there for as long as you stand there. Okay, so that kind of looks like you're walking side by side. You stop, he sits, and then he doesn't try and get up until you're ready to walk off. All right, and I'm not talking about a whole bunch of time. I'm just talking about a little bit of time or how much time it takes for the dog to stop trying to move you. Okay, so the dog should not move you. You should move the dog. The dog should move with you. The dog is in follower mode, not in leader mode. If the dog is allowed to pull you or decide when to stop or decide when to start or decide which direction to go while he's on walk, he is in leadership mode and you are following and you want to reverse that. So the first thing to do though, before you even step outside is to get some sort of thought from your dog. Get your dog to start using its mind before you step outside. So when you're at the door, you stop and the dog should sit and the dog should ultimately, and I mean ultimately, which means it may take you some time, but the dog should ultimately look at you without you asking for eye contact. So you should sit at the door. You should look at the door. I mean, excuse me. You should stand at the door, tell the dog to sit, open the door, and the dog obviously is going to want to go out, go out, go out, go out, go out. You just stand there, tell the dog to keep the dog in a sit, and then the dog all of a sudden is going to go like this. That's when you can go out, but it may take some time. But that's a good way to provoke thought. Listen, it is our job to teach our dogs how to think, how to use their brain, especially for reactive dogs. And and your dog, it sounds like you're dealing with a small dog that is reactive. And that means this. When a dog is reactive, they're thinking like that. They're thinking, oh, this means this, this means this, this means this. But in your case, you walk outside and your dog barks. So that means outside means barking. Outside means barking. Outside means barking. You see how kind of crazy that is? It's like outside means one thing. That means your dog's not using its brain. So we have to teach them how to use its brain. Again, teaching them how to think because once you get a dog to um, actually respect what you want to do on the walk, the dog will be calm and actually can do different things on the walk. And in your case, not walk. I mean, excuse me, not bark. So it's not about small dog syndrome. It's just about taking the time to let your dog open up its mind and let that learning, you know, kind of flow. Small dogs are tough though, man. Small dogs are tough when it comes to stuff like that because they will test you. I mean, obviously, they're allowed to get away with hell and high water, so they will test you. Okay. Thank you for your question. I had a couple of questions on YouTube, one of which was how to get a dog to stop barking in the car or stop. The dog was drooling and salivating in the car. Another small dog. Um, but basically, hold on, let me take a drink here. But that kind of aligns with the last sort of explanation that I had. Um, in the car, you have to give the dog something that he has to do that's non-negotiable. Sort of like, sort of like a kid, right? We give kids rules in the car. They obviously can't throw things out the window. Excuse me. They obviously can't ride without a seatbelt, right? They obviously can't. Excuse me. They can't kick the seat. So same thing with dogs. Dogs just can't just they shouldn't be able to just do whatever they want in the car if they have those issues, if they had certain issues. Okay, so what you're going to have to do to get the dog to stop reacting so much in the car is to give him something to do that's non-negotiable. And in this case, what I would do is put the dog in a down. I'd put the dog in a down, tell the dog to lay down. You can even put its bed in there if it's easier for him. But the dog is to lay down on on the car ride. You gotta give the dog something to do that is non-negotiable in order for the dog to actually learn. Because what happens is when the dog is concerned with laying down, it can't be too concerned with what's causing the anxiety, and so the dog is not allowed to just go down the, you know, the hole of anxiousness, and the dog has to concentrate on a task, the task, which is to lay your butt on that bed. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. That'll do it. But first, if you want to make it really easy for the dog, you should put the dog in the sit. I mean, excuse me. You should teach the dog how to lay down in your house. Okay? Thanks for your question. Okay, you guys, whoever's watching live, please feel free to ask as many questions as you like. You're not subject to one question. Anything that you can even ask for a friend. But again, the more questions that we get, the more people we can help. So feel free to ask as many questions as you like, and we will keep going until we have no more questions. Okay, next question. All right. My year-old lab pit mix, usually very good with other dogs. My best friend recently adopt an 8-year-old pit mix who also is a recent amputee. While the first couple of times our dogs being together were good, my dog became aggressive towards the other dog recently and has stayed aggressive towards her at each subsequent meeting. Trying to mount her, hackles up in her face, aggressively trying to bite her face. The day prior to the first aggressive incident, my dog was around a hyper 5-year-old male pup. That is the only trigger we see as an issue. My best friend and I want to want our dogs to be able to hang out and are looking for suggestions on how to reintroduce them safely. All right, my answer is pretty much the same. I do believe that it all starts with how well the dogs can listen to you, and how, and then you give time within that within the amount of control that you have, that you have with both dogs. Okay, what you're looking for when you are working with both dogs is calmness before you take another step. So if they have met before and they were okay, then that and they're now kind of bad, then that means um, that they just need a little bit of space, just like any relationship. Doesn't it sound kind of similar to any relationship? Like, Okay, you just had a little incident with your best friend. Y'all gonna need some time to rekindle some things. Y'all gonna need some time away, right, to think things over, and then you talk when the emotions die down a little bit. So it's the same with dogs, but we can expedite that process if we have more control over both dogs. The one who is mounting and being a butthole, that one needs to be corrected. That one needs to learn what no means. When you say no, the dog should stop doing it, whatever it's doing, anything rude. All right. But first and foremost, again, the dog should be listening around other dogs better. This is what's going to get the dog to be more open and get that relationship started on the right foot. So that's about it. Um, there's a lot more I could get into it with in regards to that. I have a ton of socialization. Well, I don't have a ton, but I have a few good socialization videos on YouTube that will sort of detail out a game plan on how to reintroduce two dogs who have been fighting, or a dog who's just aggressive, and or a new dog that you're bringing into your pack and you want to make sure things run smooth. So I've got a lot of good socialization videos on YouTube that will help out with that. All right. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. Well, I guess you can't because you're not live. But those of you who are live, you guys can ask me another question. Well, guess what? You know what I just realized? I just realized I've been in business. My business has been open for almost 9 years. That's crazy to me. Almost 9 years. That's crazy. I haven't been sued yet. Got close once, but I haven't been sued yet. Listen, we work with some really tough tools, and we work with some really tough situations, and um, it's dangerous. The game is dangerous. I feel like talking in a country accent because I was at Hinterland yesterday, and I overheard this guy right behind me. He was from Louisiana, and I was like, oh man, I have a love hate relationship with people who talk real country because although I love the South, I also hate the South and anything that brings it. So anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't remember what I was saying. Um, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, yeah. So this business is tough because again, we try and teach people how to keep their dog from biting people, and we try and teach people to how to keep their dog from biting other dogs. Like biting is bad. Biting hurts. Like biting causes damage. Man, I done talked to so many people who have tried to break up dog fights and have ended up in the hospital themselves. So this is a dangerous game, and one of the things that I try and um, tell people when they train with me is your success is going to be based on how well you can keep in contact with me afterwards. I try and this Q&As. This is why I have the pack walks, and this is why I answer the phone. I want to be able to give people a constant resource. That's Canadian. Canadians say it like that. They'd be like resource, resource. Anyway, I want to give people a a resource to where we can keep their dog on track. I mean, that's going to be the biggest component on success, because once your dog goes home, they may try and do the things that they did before. It's finally like, okay, I'm home, party's on, let's let's get it. Like, and then it may be a little bit of resistance to these new you this new you, like the new rules that come with what we try and teach you guys, right? So when you go home, you'll have a whole nother set of rules for a while. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Appreciate it, man. um, but when you take your dog home after boarding with us, you will have a new set of rules. Because why? Because I just learned your dog, man, and I know what your dog's capable of, and I know what your dog on bad and good. I know how well your dog can do, and I know how bad your dog can be. So you'll need those rules. You'll need those guidance. I think it is very aligned with alcoholism or just any sort of addiction. It's like me. I want to be like the AA meetings, like for real. Like I'm the you no like successful treatment or recovery or recovering addict does well if they don't go to AA meetings. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go, and it's tough to go. You want to do what you want to do. You don't want to discipline your dog, or you want things to go back to normal, but you gotta stay in contact with me, which is why I charge the way that I charge too. You guys, listen here. I used to work dogs for free. Okay, I used to work dogs for free, and guess how many people showed up? One, a two, maybe on a good day, a three. When I started charging people, they started taking me a little bit more seriously. So, in this regard, it is very important because we're dealing with something that's so sensitive. I have to make sure people stay committed, which is why I charge the way that I charge. And people give me crap. Oh, you're greedy. Oh, you're charging all this money. Yeah, I want to charge this money. I need to. It's the point at which people say, "All right, well, I'm not going to just waste my money. I'm going to call this dude and I'm going to use this dude because I done spent way too much money just to, you know, get my dog back and not follow through." That's what we need. We need follow through. We need people who are going to be committed. And it's not something that, like, oh, you got to do 24 hours a day. You can live your life. We're trying to teach your dog to accommodate to your lifestyle. We're trying to teach your dog and teach you guys how to make it easier on on yourself, your home, your family, and society, and your other dogs. That's it. That's about it. Mm. Okay. You have another question? Okay, Amy, I appreciate that. Okay. I have another question. Since you're talking about biting and liability, we just got approved to be a foster family, not full time. Um, so there's, so is there anything we need to watch for, do, or address with introducing these kids to Jordy? He loves our kids. 1 and 3. Should we kennel him when they come over, or do they have advice, or do you have advice for the introduction? Our fosters will be between 3 and 6 years old. Yeah, just have control over Jordy. If you have to kennel him, that's fine. Make the kids the priority. Make Jordy the afterthought, and Jordy will make sure he behaves in that crate, though. Make sure he is silent in that crate. You know what I mean? And that's a good way to introduce that dog to those kids. And it may not even seem like an introduction, but that's an introduction. The introduction is, I'm in control. That's what Jordy's going to feel. I'm in control. I'm bringing these people in, these kids in, and you should be quiet in that kennel. And you do that for the first two or three interactions, until Jordy stops looking like he wants to come out. Until Jordy stops displaying needy behavior. And once he's comfortable with those kids being in the house and him being in the crate, then you can bring Jordy out, possibly. Because by then, Jordy has already become comfortable with the smells, the sounds, and the sight of those kids. How cool is that? Listen, I don't think people can understand what the crate actually can do. The crate actually can do a lot of things for you if you use it right. You can introduce new dogs with a dog in a crate. You can introduce new people. That if a dog is um, um, territorial, you can put the dog in the crate. And if the crate rules are what I kind of told you, then then that again tells the dog that you are in control of the situation. These people are going to come in. You are to be quiet and not acknowledged until you are completely quiet. And then you can come out. So the crate can be used for many things, not just peeing and pooping or teaching peeing and pooping. There's many other things that the crate can do. So I recommend that the dog can be that any dog can be good in a crate. All right. That's what I would do. Make those kids the priority, and your dog should just be thankful to be there with you. Okay. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another. Okay. So like I was saying, you guys, it's uh it's pretty it's a pretty tough job in that regard. Talking about keeping quiet, I have a 60-month-old GSD female. When she's excited, she will whine and bark. What's the best way to correct her? Couple things. All right, I'm going to give you the whole spiel so that you can pick from it and try these different things. Okay. So make sure that the dog doesn't get anything it wants for that behavior. But you may give the dog something it doesn't want or something it wants to avoid, which is the way to correct her. And you can do there's you know however you want to do it. Um, Spray bottle, doggy don't, e-collar, whatever it may be. Okay, but at the end of the day, the dog has to learn that the calm, quiet dog gets whatever it wants. That other crap, whine and bark, doesn't get any attention, only gets negative attention from you and whoever else is living with you. But do not interact with a dog who is even excited. Dog is super young, and the dog probably has been pet while it's been excited, and that's just going to build that whine and bark. Okay, so you definitely don't want to pet that dog. Don't pet the excited dog. Wait until the dog is calm and quiet, then you pet the dog. Or tell the dog to be quiet and then ignore the dog for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, however long it takes for the dog to quiet down. If we're talking about in the crate, then you have to teach the dog some crate obedience, which is to lay down in the crate, because that'll stop the whining and barking. And then you have to give the dog enough time to figure out that whining and barking gets the dog nowhere. What's the dog want? The dog wants you, a toy, to go outside, affection from you guys, And if it gets any of those things after it has whined and barked, or while it's whining and barking, then you're just going to accentuate that problem. Wait until the dog, not wait. Maybe with a German Shepherd, you may have to, you know, you may have to correct the dog to get the dog to be quiet, because German Shepherds are easily fall into that whining and barking stuff. So that's what I would do. You can give me more if you give me more detail on when and where it barks. I can give you a better answer. But that's sort of a general statement or question, so I gave you a general answer. Hope that helps. Feel free to ask another or explain more. And thank you for your question. All right, Jeremy, what's the best brand of choke collar we use during training? Big Brute. Porter broke his. Oh my God, Porter, what the hell are you doing? If you're listening, Porter, go lay down. Get off the couch. It's called Herm Springer. It's spelled here. I'm gonna type it in. Herm Springer is a German brand, and then you want to get the 3.0 millimeter, which is the medium, and then you also want to get the quick release because it's easier to finagle on and off. He's in his bed. Good boy, oh Porter. Good boy. Throw him a treat. And good job, Angie. I was expecting him to be on the couch because there's a lot of clients who watch, and then I can actually get your dog to lay down if they hear my voice because they've heard it before, especially if they've trained with me. This one lady, she's like, you told her to go lay down on Facebook Live, and she went and laid down, which I just thought is hilarious. So good job, Porter. You stay and stop breaking prong collars. What the hell's wrong with you? Anyway, so that's the brand that I recommend you guys. You want to, if you guys are looking for a prong collar, that's it. This is the exact brand, and it will work for most dogs, except for really small dogs. But this brand can even, I mean, this size 3.0 millimeter can also work for Great Danes. I use it on my Dane. Thank you. We tried the dog you don't. She will respond to it. She is a rescue. She only acts up in public. Oh, if she's acting up in public, then make sure that walk is very, 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 the rules on the walk are very, very understood. If those rules on the walk are very understood, then again, she has less of an opportunity to act up in public. So you may need to tighten up how well she heals with you. And that can be tough because I just trained a German Shepherd who can heal. No, it was a Golden Doodle. I think it was a Golden Doodle. No, it was a poodle, straight up poodle, standard poodle. The dog could heal and was still reactive, but um, but then we had to give the dog more leash, which means I usually train with a short leash, right? Like this much room between the dog and my hand. So here's the dog, and here's my hand. The leash is only like this big. You know what I mean? And sometimes, for some dogs, on very special occasions, very rare occasions, the dog will need more leash, but still working towards loose leash because some dogs are going to be reactive to immediate tension. It's almost like that dog to dog with a fence in between sort of deal. You ever see that video with those two dogs that are barking and looking like they're about to kill each other over the fence, and then the fence opens and they both walk away? That's kind of like, for some dogs, what that real short leash represents is a sort of security to act like a fool. But if that short leash isn't there and they have the opportunity to actually act like a fool, some choose not to act like a fool. And so check how well your walk is, I would say that, and see where you go from there. But the dog should be healing loose leash right beside you. All right. Thank you guys for your questions. Okay, let's see. I think we may have one more. I don't know. Let me check. You're welcome. Okay, I think we got room for one more question, guys. All right. So I put his food dish down, and he will sit and wait until I put reins down in the crate and lock her up, and I will go walk out of the room, and he still growls. Should I keep walking and ignore it? Ew, who is he growling at? Oh, you're gonna have to give me more than that. And you're not watching live, so you can't actually tell me. Yeah, I'll have to know what the dog's growling at. That'd be good. Um, sorry, I can't help you more than that. Give me a little bit more detail and I'll be able to help you. But anyway, all right, you guys, we're about to cut it off. I don't think we have any more questions live. Yeah, we're good to go. All right, guys, I really appreciate you guys watching. Please give me a thumbs up before you exit out, or a heart, or whatever you like. Please subscribe if you're on YouTube and watching, and if you're on Instagram, uh, do your Instagram thing. I don't even know what you do, but we'll see you guys next week, same time. Maybe it might be maybe a little earlier. It just depends on when I can put my boy to sleep. But again, thank you guys for your questions, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, bye bye. Oh, bye YouTube.